What is up, YouTube? We're going to jump right into the build. Here it is. If you're not building this, you're not playing Yemoja right.
Bruh.
What is up, YouTube? How you guys doing? It is Inbound, back with the 4th God Guide. We've done Herc, we did a Kuzumba one and an Ymir one, and now we're on to Yemoja. A lot of people want to know how to play Yemoja. She's a lot more unique than other gods. She plays differently than most Guardians. She builds differently than most Guardians. She is different than most Guardians, and she doesn't use mana, and she's also ranged, so just very unique god. I'll do a little walkthrough with her. We'll go with the build, we'll go with the start, we'll go with some tips, we'll go with how to play the 2v2, and we'll get you guys to be basically professional Yemoja players by the end of this. So, sell this absolutely dreadful build. Please don't build this unless you're me in the SPL. We'll start with Guardian's Blessing. We'll go T1 boots, 4 health, Hand of the Gods, and we'll cover Relics quick too, but this is the start. Don't go anything else. Please still rush boots. You don't care about your Thebe stacks until you finish boots. This is what you're going to do. So, Relics. Onk is not very great on Yemoja because she doesn't really get into their backline, so hardly ever she's going to get a nice Onk off. If you do need it, you can go it, obviously. Aegis, not terrible. If they have like a Kraken or something you're worried about getting all in, you can go Aegis. Sprint, it's an okay relic. Do they have like Cupid or something you're worried about getting slowed to death? You can go Sprint. I actually think Yemoja's one of the better gods into slow characters because her 3 will just like boost her away from them. Even if she's slowed and crippled or something, or just slowed, she'll get that quick boost out of it and then she'll land down. It'll be like a little semi-jump. So you really don't need Sprint. Blink, it's okay if you want to get like a nice Blink ult in on the backline. If you're planning on playing like backline Yemoja, or I mean dive Yemoja, you can go Blink if you want to. Beads, also fine. I think it's Rongu that really likes beads in the SPL, so beads are fine too. Teleport, don't build teleport in support. Don't build meta in support. Shell is one of the probably most bought items in SPL phase 1 and 2. You can never go wrong with it. Who doesn't like a shield and some absorb stacks? If you don't know what to build, just build Shell. Probably not building Thorns on Yemoja. She just makes better use of other relics. Sunder, she's actually one of the better gods with Sunder. She's got easy lockdown with her 1, and then she also has a slow, so if she doesn't have the Omi to lock someone down with the stun, she can at least slow to set up for the Sundering Spear. Phantom Veil, it's okay. If you're playing against Ymir, don't want to get walled in, you can Phantom Veil out of it. Bracer, terrible, don't build it. Horrific, she's actually really good with Horrific. She uses it very well because she can force out beads with her 1, and then she can just get a Horrific off and kill someone for pretty much free. I still think Horrifics are a little underwhelming, but I don't think it's a terrible option. And then Belt of Frenzy, probably not starting this item. You can go at level 12. It's a fine level 12 relic. Actually, it's a really good level 12 relic. Don't really start it ever, though. That's Relics for Yemoja. Now let's get into the builds, or boots. I guess we'll start with boots. Start with Travelers, probably the worst boots on Yemoja. You don't use mana. MP5 is the biggest thing for Travelers, in my opinion. The movement speed is very rarely irrelevant now. It's 4% more, so you don't really care about that, and the passive is pretty irrelevant too. So Travelers, never get on Yemoja. Tank boots, are you going to get focused? Do they have a lot of CC? Do you need the health? Do you need the prots? You can go Reinforced Shoes. Cooldown boots, I think this is the most bought boot for Yemoja over SPL. It basically almost gets your passive stacked right away. Your passive is, we'll take a quick look at it. It's at 300 mana, you get additional Omi. That's a good thing to strive for. So going cooldown boots, it also makes your Omi regen faster. So cooldown boots are very good on Yemoja. And then Shoes of the Magi, also very good. You get mana that puts you towards getting that additional Omi. Gives you extra power. It gives you a little bit of life steal. It actually kind of feels pretty nice. And then when you have this item finished, you are swinging. You get so much damage. So I guess for my build, what I like to do, or in my order for boots, I usually go probably cooldown, Magi's, and then tank boots. I just think you can make better use of the other boots than tank boots. You're really not planning on frontlining with Yemoja too much. If you get focused, usually you're going to be fine anyway because of how broken your 3 is and how safe you are with your 2 and your ult and your stun and your 1. So yeah, you really don't have to worry about getting focused as Yemoja. And if you're really like getting an Ares ulted or something, just go beads. If you're gonna get focused, go beads and then go different shoe, in my opinion. But if you do leave base with Shell or something and then you realize you're gonna get focused, you can go tank boots. So we'll say we're starting with, yeah, we'll do Shoes of Focus. So right here, you're at 10% CDR, you got a little bit of health from Guardian's Blessing, and you're gonna have a good amount of power, and you're gonna have almost full stacked Omi. The first spot is, you can go Thebes here. Thebes will give you basically everything you need. You get health, prots of each. She's also really safe, so you kind of don't mind the stacking on Yemoja. You're not going to be not tanky, and your aggression is still going to be there just because of how much damage you do. So you don't have to worry too much about getting the stacks on Thebes, and usually you play a more defensive style with Yemoja, so having to worry about stacks, not a big deal. You can get your stacks. After this, usually you want to get your whatever item you want to finish your passive. Your passive is 300 mana, remember? With this, you get 7 HP 5 next to an enemy. HP 5 counts as the mana also. You get 250 from this, and then you get none from gauntlets. So you need about 50 mana, or 50 HP 5 to finish stacking this. So if you look at this, most of the items are pretty weak. I think Breastplate is actually pretty good on Yemoja after Thebes, but if you go Shoes of Focus, you usually don't need Breastplate. You can find it somewhere else. Honestly, I'd probably go like just Sov into like a Genji's or something. And then right there, you're going to be good on your passive. You go Relic Dagger, whatever else. You just build tanky like you normally do. Yemoja doesn't really need power items. You can go Ethereal Staff if you want to. You go Mantle if you want to. Spirit's Robe. Magi's is fine. Emperors if you're worried about sieging. Shoguns if you need some attack speed. You can kind of go a lot of things on your Yemoja. The biggest thing is just make sure you have that 300 mana. That 300 mana is hugely important, so you can get that extra Omi. So a slight intro to the character. Let's jump into the abilities. We'll look at the abilities, and we can go over what each of them does and what her passive does. So Yemoja's passive is Omi. She does not use mana. She only has ultimate cooldown. That's everything. Her 1, 2, 3 do not use cooldown. They just use Omi. So she starts with 7 Omi and can earn up to 10. She gains 1 Omi every 5 seconds, and cooldown reduction increases Omi regen. That's why cooldown is pretty important on Yemoja. It allows you to get your abilities up faster. It's basically cooldown in a sense. And then at 300 mana, she gains additional Omi, and then at reaching level 6 and level 14. Those are the ways to get Omi. You can't go past 10. You can't be under 7. And then also, her basic attacks heal her teammates. And they also give increased magical healing. So right here, if he was poked at all, he'd be getting a little extra MP5 or HP 5, and then it gives 10% increased healing for 7 seconds. It's actually one of the stronger parts of her kit. The heal in lane is actually very nice. Let's take a look at the 1. So here's the 1. It's a little bubble. Does damage twice. Bounces once, bounces again, does damage, bounces a 3rd time. They bounce out, they all do damage. The 3rd bounce does reduce damage, all those small little balls do a lot less damage. The second part of her too is this little line ability thing. Goes pretty far out. It stuns in the middle. So does damage on these spots, and then it stuns in the middle, and then damage over here. And it'll slowly like collapse into the middle, and you want to get out of that middle, and you want to hit people in the middle to stun them. So a really quick, easy combo is just to 1 and 1 like so. You 1 to slow, and then 1 to stun. You set up your own abilities. Your slow sets up your stun, and then if you do have a lot of Omi, you do have a lot of ability to spam your 1, and you can do a lot of damage with it. Your 2 is a line ability, and it does damage, breaks shields, heals, and shields your teammates. So the little combo also is you make sure you auto them so your 2 can heal more, because it's increased healing. So you want to auto, then you want to make sure you get your 2 off. It'll bounce around, and it'll do healing and shielding to everyone it hits. All 4 of us get a nice little shield. I can only hit everyone 1 time, so you can't just hit you and a teammate and go back and forth and get like a massive heal, massive shield. And the 3, it's this little poofy, jumpy thingy, however you want to describe it. This is probably the most fun part of Yemoja's kit. I think the rest of it is pretty boring, but her 3 is very fun. On this side of the line, while it's blue, you'll push people forward. On this side, in the yellow, so right at this line right here, if you walk into it, pushes people towards you. So basically, while you're running away, you place it at your feet. If you're trying to chase an enemy, let's pretend this Odin is an enemy, and you want him to come back, throw it in front of him, he gets bounced back. And that is basically Yemoja's 3. It's used for those 2 purposes mostly. You can also toss 1 down in the middle of a team fight, just for your teammates to kind of maneuver around with. If your ADCs is like kind of boxing and fighting someone, you can kind of like jump into it for a little boost, a little jump, and it gives a few prots too. So getting it down in a team fight gives your backline a little bit of protections. So it's a pretty good ability to just toss down. Gives them some basically another jump, but it's not something you can aim. It just goes wherever the Yemoja points the ability. Her ult and her probably most impactful ability is this giant rectangle thing. It's like the size of a football field. It's like an Olo ult. So these giant walls go up. Allies can walk through them. Allies can auto through them. They can throw abilities through them. Enemies, on the other hand, cannot walk through the walls, and they are slowed inside the walls, and they will also be drunk or, I can't remember, intoxicated, I think it is. Trembled. They're trembled. It's a very hard tremble. They're trembled as soon as the walls crash in. Basically, if the enemy's trying to walk through here, toss up the wall, you can walk through, the enemy can't. Pretty easy. So yeah, that's Yemoja's ability. She's actually got a pretty complicated kit. There's a lot of things you can do. She plays defensive really well. She plays offensive really well. If your Odin's getting dove, you kind of toss a bunch of abilities onto him. keep healing them, toss the 3, make them evade. Yeah, you have a lot of peel potential, a lot of healing, saving potential, and then your damage, like your dive potential and your setup potential is also really good. So say your backliner's not dying at all, he's actually getting a lot of damage off, he's got double actives. However, he's getting dove and you want to put a little bit of damage, just toss your 1 onto him. And then if he's getting dove by the assassin or whatever, you'll slow the assassin, and then after you slow him, you can confirm with a stun. Usually you want to lead with the slow if it's like a dive like this, because it just covers so much ground. Like, covers here, into here, and then into here, and all this slows. That entire area slows, and you can set it up with your stun. However, in just walking around the jungle and stuff, you probably want your stun to be the one active. It'll allow you to, like, say, toss this guy back and then stun him like this. And that's a little combo you can do. If they don't have a jump or an escape or anything like that, or they just used it, it's a free stun guaranteed. Just kind of get used to the range that they fly back. Hello? Did that not say it was on him? Like, yeah, it throws him pretty far back. So you just kind of got to get used to the range of it. That's basically all there is to it. Yeah, I already said the 2 combo. Just make sure you have your 2 on someone. Your 2's pierce allies. So if your teammates are stacked, see if I can get this guy to stack. If your teammates are stacked, you can actually auto through all 3 of them and get your passive onto all 3 of them for extra regen and extra healing. So that's a really easy way. Just make sure your teammates are grouped. You can auto through all of them and then toss your 2 on them. Yeah, Yemoja really doesn't have too many tricks with her ult. She's got 2 things, basically. If there's one escape in the jungle or through a lane or something and you're ganking, you just want to cut off that lane. So right here, the enemy can now only run out right there and right up there. They cannot run this way, which is preferably towards their tower. You want to make the escape either into the jungle so you can chase better, or back towards your tower so that's farther that they have to get away. I think what makes Yemoja so broken, we'll go to her laning phase, is, and actually we'll sell everything just so we can see her laning phase. So I have 7 Omi. At least I should have 7 Omi. Yep. Oh, wait, it says I have 8. But you should have 7 Omi. Wait, it says I have 9. Probably can't get rid of them. So what you do is you just spam your 1 in lane. So as soon as you get your 1, you can group the wave like this. Obviously, the minions are really tanky because I'm almost 40 minutes into the game. Your 1 just allows you to group the wave and then stun the wave. And if the Guardian's trying to hit you or something, you're going to stun the Guardian too. If the ADC is a little too close and trying to clear the wave like a Hu Yi does, you get a free stun on the Hu Yi. Same with Izanamis. If they try to walk up to the wave and just insta-clear on your melees, you can just stun them pretty easily. And people underestimate the damage. If you get inner damage and then a bubble, you'll do 100 damage for a combo, and you're going to be stunning them, slowing them, and then you can kind of combo with with some autos. Make sure you're like autoing in between, and you just kind of just spam your 1. That's basically how you play the laning phase. The only real thing that she does that's special in the laning phase, other than spamming her 1, is her level 2 power spike. Kind of like a Hercules, she has that displacement into CC. Really easy to kill the enemy support. Say you get up to level 2, you're trading in the laning phase, you just hit level 2, they start running away. You put your 3 in front of them, it knocks them back, then you stun them. If they don't have a sprint at this point, 90% of the time they're dead, because as soon as you hit the stun, you confirm you're slow, which confirms another stun, which confirms another slow, and usually by then your ADC's done enough damage that you can kill them. That's why your 2v2 is so scary. And then the last tip in the laning phase is just make sure you're autoing your opponent, or your enemy, not your opponent or your enemy, make sure you're autoing your teammate, because you want to keep that HP 5 on them. When you play Yemoja, you kind of want your ADC to be the one playing forward, and he kind of, instead of him playing off you like normal, you play off of him. Because of all this healing and regen that they're going to have, they can take trades they usually couldn't take, because they're getting this extra healing, this extra HP 5. They have this extra trade potential. And then once you hit level 3, you also have access to your 2. If you are getting traded, make sure your auto's on them. You 2 them. They're going to get a nice little shield and heal for 30, 60. It's going to be a 60 total thing. It's going to be basically an auto from the enemy, and it'll be actually a little bit more because of the heal or the auto on your 1, which will give it an extra 3, so it'll be 63 health, I guess, if you want to count the shield as extra health. Basically, you just want to be using your abilities to combo mostly. Your 1 combos off itself, your 1 combos off your 3, and then you just use your 2 for the defensive. If you get ganked, you turn towards your tower, you place your 3 down, and you just get the heck out of there. And it's really hard to chase Yemoja unless she doesn't have Omi. If she doesn't have Omi, it's pretty easy to chase. You chase her like any other god. But if she has Omi, she can just kind of spam this thing down the lane. And with T1 boots, you're not catching her. You're not covering this distance in the same amount of time she is. That's kind of her 2v2. She doesn't have like a ton of other tricks other than that. For the most part, she's straightforward. It's the only thing is just learning how to combo with herself, combo with others. Her 3 just hitting it raw is kind of hard. It's really slow. Like the amount of time you have to actually get out of that. It's pretty substantial. If they have a jump, a dash, any type of movement ability, they can usually get out of that. It's really effective against gods that are immobile, a la Apwash, Zeus, other immobile mages, and stuff like that. You're very, very good at punishing gods that don't have jumps because of your ult. She really doesn't have any weaknesses. I consider Ymir a pretty good matchup into her because of the pressure he exerts at level 1 is equal to her. And then the wall is insane against her too because she can't get away from it. But she does really well into him also. She has the slow stacking under the stun. Ymir can't get out of it. He doesn't have a dash or anything to get away from her. And then if she's caging him in and they're focusing the Ymir can easily die. Hercules has got a decent matchup into her. She's also got a decent matchup in Hercules. She has no bad matchups and she can win every matchup. That's basically Yemoja's strength. You could always pick Yemoja, and it's never like, this is a bad Yemoja game. It's always a good Yemoja game. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think Yemoja has much else that's difficult or you need to know about her. It's just passive, learning her abilities, learning what her abilities do and where they put people, the timing on her abilities. I guess we should do the ability leveling. Ability leveling. So it's 1, 3. I go 1, 2. So right here, it'll be the same, but you go 1, 3, 1, 2. You really don't need the heal at level 3. The damage from the 1 is a lot better. And then obviously you get your ult at 4. You get your 1. You're just going to max your 1 out kind of. At here, I like to get my 2. Some people point skip, and then I get my 1. Then I get my 2. 2. 2. I think Yemoja has a pretty bad ult to level. And then you just max out Yemoja ult after that. Her ult basically just gives her additional damage. 70 damage, 65 actually at every rank. Who cares? You're not ulting for damage most of the time. You're ulting for walls. It's actually 240 base. It's actually a very, very high base number for damage. And then at 500 in the late game, it's pretty meh. And it's very hard to hit late game. So 1, 2, 3, ult. Most Guardians do like to level their ults, or a good amount of them do. So Yemoja is a pretty weird god in that regards. But yeah. So that's the Yemoja guide, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you liked it, leave a like, please. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I'm getting back into the groove of YouTube. I know I took a little break, but I'm back. We'll be hitting you with more guides. If you guys want any other content, let me know in the comments. And yeah, let me know if you liked the video. And if I missed anything either, also, throw it in the comments too. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. You guys sleep well, stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time.